Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I have up there this morning, I'm starting off with the, I was going to put the dollar index up, but I kind of trying to still make my point. You can see here, this is where they cut the rates, and, is that it? Or no, it was the 18th, they cut the rates, 19th, 20th, yeah, so it was on Wednesday right here. So they started topping out on Tuesday. As the meeting started, they knew that they were going to drop the rates, and it started to show in the market. You can see the same thing with the daily. Let's see if we can do this a little bit better, like that. There's the 18th, yeah, and you had that selling going on, and you can see we're dipping into the weekly sell. In other words, it's the opposite reaction that most people would be anticipating. I hope I said good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's your classic, buy the rumor, sell the news, and that's really. Hey, Robin, how you doing? And that's the answer to it all, really, at this point. They lowered interest rates officially, and the market looked at it and said, been there, done that, and interest rates have been rising since. And mainly the 30-year used to govern the bond, the house, the housing market, the mortgage there. And so ZN is the 10-year, which it's has a little different twist to it. That's the 30-year. Because everybody was used to 30-year bonds, Let's see, ZN. I can find the ZN in here somewhere. And just take a look at the 10-year action. As we scroll down there, there's a Brent. That's cool. ZN. So ZN is in here somewhere. Let's find that ZN. Let's try putting my glasses on. That always helps too. Oh, Magoo. You have done it again. Alright, ZN. Let's take a look at that ZN, which is the 10-year. And we scroll, and we scroll. I know we saw it. There it is right there. There's the 10-year. Now, that's more interesting. There's September 11th, and there is the 17th. 18th is when they dropped it, and it's trying to get back down to. I mean, obviously, will they really go after this 113 area, or I guess it's basically 113 area? I'm not really sure about that. Since the overall trend now they know is down. The Fed is kind of doing a little dancing right now, trying to make it sound like, oh well, we're still independent. But everybody looks at it now and says, you really had to do a half? So, I mean, that's I am glad you're fine. I am marching around here like a monkey, like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I'm going in all kinds of directions. It's the interest rate situation has been very strange. I'm seeing, some intelligent, let's say, people on the left side of the economic spectrum just saying, why couldn't they just started with a quarter and then another quarter and another quarter? Now the expectation is half, half, half. And it's like, no, Fed, especially if Trump wins, God, they may just say, we don't even need to lower the rates anymore. They always do whatever will hurt Trump. So, it's, hurt I guess you could say not only Trump, but the philosophy of free markets and free people. So, it'll be a whole different situation. Really puts a lot of pressure on the Federal Reserve. I'd imagine that it's a definite quarter for sure. After that, it becomes a guessing game. So, let's drift from there. I mean, the stock market's up again. I'll show you one other thing on the beta, and that is that check out China. China lowered rates. They're really trying to stimulate their economy. Let's see. We'll put that up on the screen on the beta right there. And there is. Look at that big spike last night. Like boom. Now, did they know they were going to lower rates 3 days ago? Obviously so. No doubt about it. They front run that because our math shows you that they were front running it. So it was telling you that be long or be wrong. And you can see the weekly was having a challenge. It was spiking through here, no doubt. It's been pushing hard. That is the Monday. So, but you could see that they were trying to lift it either way. It was coming off extreme lows. The fast, in many ways, was not that far off to begin with. It was showing us that the slow had gotten oversold dramatically. It took out this low over here. It got way down into here, and you can see, the gain that it had over the last, I guess you could say, the last 5 days, the last 4 days, didn't match the gain we had when they finally officially said, guess what? Free money. Come and get it. Start our economy. I know we're communists, but start our economy, please. Something of that nature. So there is that. Now, I instantly thought to myself, who is really in the South, in the Pacific, economically? Who is really like the real? What's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a magical word here, but I thought to myself, maybe the Singapore Straight Times index, Singapore time index itself. Maybe that might represent something. I don't have Hong Kong on there anymore, just solely because of the pollution from the communists that has an effect on economic pollution. So, and then I thought, well, Taiwan might show some strength, like the way that the spike of the Chinese right there. So I went there and I went and looked, at the Taiwan. First I went to the Singapore, STI. And let's find the STI. And it was interesting. They were selling it down a little bit. And I was like, wow, they talk about the classic, buy the rumor, sell the news. So they were obviously anticipating strength. Here it is right there. They were obviously anticipating that strength. Look at that massive run since the big unwind in Japan. I mean, look at that. There's green dots forever and ever. And the product went from 32,000 or 3,250 to all the way up to 3,650. 400-point move. Well over 10% action, like 15, 16% action. You can see we were in a weekly buy all the way back in, let's see what we can do here. Let's just give this a spin again. That's what happens when it's not giving you the numbers clearly. Just hit the little recycle thing. So you can see there, I guess that's August 23rd. August 23rd, I guess, like right there, 8. Yeah, that's right. So right in here, you can see here the August. What is that? That's the daily. Let's line up the daily to it a little bit too, like so. Move it over just a little bit more. So there is the August 11th. It went into a daily buy and stayed in that daily buy all the way out to August 20th, but stayed in there because it was green and underneath, so still in the buy. Stayed in that buy all the way across. Matter of fact, we're now just finally, they lower rates in China and Singapore. It's okay, time to take a profit. I think that's very interesting. It's one of the stronger indexes, one of the more capitalist societies. So, and that's the words I was really looking at. I was trying to find the opposite side of the communist China, and Japan is half and half. Taiwan is much more like Singapore. Let's take a look at that too. I just think it's kind of fascinating, and then we'll go over to the currencies and see what they're doing with the Aussie, The not the Aussie, the euro. But let's just take the last index to look at, and that'll be Taiwan for the moment. Let's check out Taiwan. They're right next to each other. STI and Taiwan. I think they were, weren't they? Taiwan. I did look at it this morning. It was doing that same thing as Singapore. There it is, right there, next to the Kospi. I knew it was next to something important. Okay, so yeah, here we go. Taiwan is lifting up a little bit. It's been strong for 4 solid days there. You can see here a lot of strength, and it went into the weekly buy last week. You know, they must have had a good idea. You know, the front runners were front running, getting ahead of the Chinese situation. Right there, yeah. 56. There it is, right there. All right. So, just thought I'd show that. Now we'll jump back over to the currencies. Take a look at the Aussie. Yeah, Aussie. I want to call it the Aussie. The Euro. I don't know why I'm calling it the Aussie. And let's get it up over here. Oh, also, I guess we can do this too. I'm going to throw the dollar index. Whoa. Slow down. There we go, like that. You can see there's the I know that really caught my eye there. It pushed it into the sell yesterday. I was a little surprised. By the end of the day, they knocked it out. It was like, wait a second here. You know, when the U.S. market had closed, it was still in the buy, but by 5 o'clock they had knocked it down, and you can see it's trying to climb back up today. The algorithm's pushing down, and there it is again. The weekly is giving us that little correction. So, you know, I guess you know how the world kind of pays attention to China, and they look at it and they go, you know, China, please boost the world economy. China, please, you know, stimulate your economy and lift the world economy up. When in fact, you know, it doesn't seem to have any ability whatsoever like that. So you can see Singapore, they sold the news out of China. You see Taiwan was buying it for the last 4 or 5 days, and it still is last night. You can see, I think I told you about. Well, we'll go to the yen and then check out the Nikkei. So let's go over to, from there, the British pound, which seems to be extremely strong. And there it is. Look at that, more highs. We keep on talking about that. You know, we're bullish the Euro GBP pairs trade, and sure enough, it's doing a good job. You know, it's going down nicely. You know, it's falling the way it should be. You can see here, as much as and let me just stop right there. This morning and last night, some of the biggest headlines have been how poorly Europe is doing. I mean, Europe is doing really bad. Technologically. You know, they've put taxes and tariffs and rules and regulations and restrictions on the development of technology. And so, you know, you're seeing that pressure on the currency itself in the European Union. Matter of fact, what did I see? They were interviewing yesterday the Prime Minister of Italy, and she's beefing up the military. So they've spent an extra $10 billion. You know, they're talking a lot of independence, and this morning, matter of fact, this morning, Macron. Let's see if we can find that. He's talking the same thing. I mean, they're talking about they need to get away from the way they've been governing, and that was on the front page of the. There it is, right there. It was on the front page of the Zero Hedge. They were really talking about like how Europe has to kind of. There it is, right there. France, Macron calls for an end of incomplete, unjust world order. We will have to think of a new form of organization for Europe and rethink our relationship with Russia after the Ukraine conflict. So, it's it's really screaming. They're really having issues, lots of problems, and they're getting tired of it. I guess just being this dysfunctional. I mean, this is all from World War II, as far as I can tell. We're coming. Maybe we're just as much as the United States is finally coming to an end of the Civil War. Where the Democrats seem to have run the federal government now for 140 years. They lost the war, but they got control of the federal government. What irony that is. And we got the professional politician from it, which is not healthy. And Europe might be going through the same growth spurt. We may be seeing finally that here, you have Ukraine invading 400 square miles of Russia. You have Russia invading like a couple thousand square miles of Ukraine. The battling back and forth with NATO, and no nuclear war really has been started. And maybe they're starting to realize that they've been running away from. They've been running scared for something that doesn't exist. Maybe that's what it comes down to. And now that we're seeing the second largest country in Europe basically say we need to grow up and straighten this stuff out. This is a disaster. You can see it in Germany. The voting, they've totally are throwing away old policies of the Christian liberal Democrat Party thing, and they're moving towards free markets and free people again. That's where they want to go. It's the European Union itself holding them back because people have, Europe itself has just been homogenized to the World War II finale, I guess you could call it, like the Cold War that started up afterwards, and it just has that feel like they're trying to grow up. They want to have a better life for people in general, and that's something that has been somewhat elusive. All right, from there we'll go over to Swiss, see how the Swiss are doing. But look at the cable. That cable, not interested in backing off whatsoever compared to the euro, who seems to have stalled out altogether. Maybe it's a base, maybe it's trying to build that base, and that's the support. We'll see as time goes on. And we all know that interest rates will drop in the States sooner or later. They're going to go down. So there is the Swiss. And you see that Swiss has parked itself down in this area. I could see it. I really could. I could see it a little bit lower. Let's put a box up in there. Because I could see it something like down here and like that. I could see this, this hold the box for a while. I could see that. I really could. I could see like this base gets built. Their fear of inflation backs off. Let's see if we can push this up like that. There we are. I guess we have to push that up, don't we? And so I guess we should fix that or remove it. Let's remove study. No one's asked for the Bollinger Bands on that in a long time. And so, we might see this box. I'm thinking this is where my head's at. I think it wants to slide into like the 82.5, 83 area at best. But I think it's going to be trapped inside this range for a while. And I don't see any particular reason why it shouldn't be. I mean, that's a nice base. It's 16% off of the highs of just a year ago. That's not. That's nothing to spit at. That's compared to the great experiment that we look at every day. An industrialized nation that's doing its best to destroy and import as much inflation as possible. It's a big different story there. There it is right there. Again, you can see the yen lifting up a little. And, it wouldn't surprise me if we find this thing. I'm not really sure we're going to see the 55 unless there's a real panic situation going on. But I would assume that we have a box, something of that nature. I would think even more lower, you know. I could see getting into that 35 area. Yep. There we are. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually find this thing sliding even more down. Might as well get rid of that Bollinger Band too, until someone asks for it again. All right, there is, that action we're seeing there now. All right, from there. Oh, let's just show you both those things. Whoop, no, not that. Didn't mean to do that. There we are. Let's go with the mouse here. We're gonna go like that. Here's that story right there. As we go take a look at the Nikkei. Francis Macron calls for the end of incomplete and unjust world order. That's where they said the France president. What does it say here? They must. Where's that article? That's it. Unjust world order. Humans can coexist more peacefully in a new order. Replace Europe's old formation. Yeah, because I'll tell you, it's not working. That's for sure. Now this is the curious one out of it all. It's battling. It's jumped up into the buy from that action, and we're up into where are we at now? We're at the 38,000 area. I think 42,000 is a 45-year high. No, it's an all-time high. It's an all-time high, and obviously that's part of the example all the time of inflation is usually hedged very well through stock markets. So. Let's see. From there, we go take a look at the Turkish lira. And there's the Turkish lira. It pushed itself into the sell there yesterday. Let's fix that on this one here. On the spreadsheet, we'll go like Euro Turkish lira, tab 1. There we go. Yeah. And you can see it seems to be holding up though. We'll see. Interesting. Oh, that is wrong. I don't know why we put it's supposed to be a circle there. Look at that. Flirting with the weekly sell for the first time in almost 20 weeks. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how much room this thing really has. I would assume, like this box here, I would assume that it'll be a true challenge to get back into that territory. I don't know. There's not much more the central bank of Turkey can do. I mean, they've come up with every little trick possible, and none of them have stuck whatsoever. To get some 2 or 3 day relief, and it all falls right back again. Sometimes it lasts for a month and it falls apart. At this point, they've offered free puts. They've offered certain economic situations. They've basically used their sovereign fund to prop up the currency. They've done everything and anything they can do, and nothing is. The poor thing is just in a devastating situation. Another sip of my tea there. So I think that's really what it comes down to, is that we'll be lucky, or let's put it this way, the Turkish people will be lucky if we see the 35s, the 34s again. That'd be fantastic. but I don't know if we're going to really see that. Now we're playing with that weekly sell, so that is something to take serious. I mean, if we get into a weekly sell, this product could. Maybe they're going to come up with something. Maybe they're going to say finally that they're going to make peace, make love, not war, or something. I don't know. Anything's possible. Maybe they become much more NATO again. I don't know. Anything is possible. Um, the only way they can get money at this point is they'd have to change their policies, and former Prime Minister Aragon doesn't seem to have much interest in doing so. All right, from there we go over to the South African Rand. There it is right there. Another day down in the box. Talk about resistance and support. Whew. There's a real problem there in the 1750 area. They cannot seem to break. There's a haircut going on. There's a political haircut, and they're not. This product should not be around 17 and a half. It should be more like 13 and a half or 13 or 12. I mean, with gold trading at $2,600 plus at all-time highs, and it just doesn't seem to happen. The politics really has this poor country tangled up. Luckily, they're moving in the right direction in the sense of some type of more civility, and the ANC seems to have lost its most power ever since its creation or since Nelson Mandela. So Nelson Mandela's ANC now is just a shadow of what he dreamt, not what he put together. He put together a socialist society, and that didn't help any. No free markets there. So, all right. From there, what we do is we go check out the metals complex. So let's check out. Where is it at? Right there. There is gold. See, gold's still trying to climb because the South African Rand is, is gaining against the dollar for like the last 10 days. Is it 10? There's 4. There's 8. 8 days. Almost 2 weeks now. So, 5 days last week, 2 days this week, and 2 days the previous week. But it's still trapped up in these high areas. It's always funny when people, you try to talk economics and then you talk politics, and they go, "Oh no, I want to talk don't want to talk politics. I want to talk just economics." It's like you can't talk one without the other. They work hand in hand. Policies change things dramatically. Let's see. Let's go back to gold, and we'll take a look at silver in there. There we are. All right. There's silver. Silver perking up a little bit. It's really tried to go after the sell even. You see a little breaking down here. Nothing major in the weekly. It looks like it's going to hold the 6 weeks. We'll see as time goes on. As long as it stays in a daily buy, more than likely it will. I mean, it'll stay in the weekly too. And from there, you can see copper. They jumped right with the China market. How many times have I said over and over, watching China and watching copper is like watching both at the same time. It's really locked in on each other. And you can see they've been buying. They had a heads up. We went into a weekly buy there. It's definitely showing, a heads up to this whole, what do they call it? Stimulus. Chinese stimulus. I'm sure that they're really disappointed in how much they've fallen apart. I guess it's because they took all the assets that they brought in and they put it into the military. They're fighting a fake ghost. No one is interested in taking them over. So instead, they're building this massive military, and it'll cost them more money and time. And then last but not least, which is curious, this is the curious one right here. Here is platinum. It went into the sell yesterday. It's trying to get into the buy today. It's lifting up, but look at the algorithm. It's saying not really. You can see the weekly is kind of hesitant. It's not. It's pushing down, but the fast is holding up. So, you can see with the strength in it again today, and you got to wonder who was selling it yesterday that would do that. Well, gold is at all-time highs. Can you imagine selling platinum with gold at all-time highs? Why would you do that? You have to have more money than anybody on the planet to do foolish things like that. All right. Let's see. From there, we march our way over to the energy sector. And you can see here, oil pushed itself into a daily sell yesterday. And it's trying to climb back up into that buy just the same way platinum did. You see it's in the weekly buy, so there's no taking that serious on the sell side. Then let's check out, let's go over to the beta. We'll take a look at North Sea oil. And what else we'll look at? There we are. There we are. And it's trying to be in the cell there, but nothing so far. Just right on the edge there. Let's give it another spin so you can see it, read the numbers. But right now, to me, it looks like let's see. There was just plus. And you can see here it's trying to roll over, and at the same time you can see the weekly is trying to turn up. So I would assume when we go over to the Brent, I would say Brent would be the identical. It's usually the way it is. ZB, I think it's BR, isn't it? Brent, BR. Brent. There it is. BZ. That's it. We'll give it a second spin there. You can see that same type of strength is kicking in. And it is trying to push into the sell today. And you can see the weekly is trying to turn up. Now, we've been, 4 solid weeks in a weekly sell. You see there, back in this action up in here, which was in the 80s, and went down to 68, 70 basically. So, that was that first push down. Kind of thinking that we're going to see, sideways action all the way up into the, unless there's some real dramatic, let me think, unless there's some type of dramatic, geopolitical problem, I would imagine that it'll things will be a lot better. Wow. All right. So that's where we're at now in the energy side of it. Let's take a look at. Check out this. Let's see how natural gas is on here. I'm not sure if it's the cross contract. I'll know in a second. There you go. Look at that spiking up, heading for the 33 area. It's a. Let's see now. Let me just go over here and check it. I think that's still the back month. I'm sorry. That's the front month, and the back month is November. Yeah. So November is trading at 283. Where's this at? Yeah, this is the October contract. It'll go out in a couple more days. You can see it's in a weekly buy. Pressure is on the was that the November contract? It's trading at 283. It's trading about 20 cents higher, and it's in a weekly buy also. So the pressure is on there. And when we go and look at the energy company down in Spain, let's go find that. There we are. All right, there it is right there. You see it's been slowly climbing since those big lows in July, which is normal, for natural gas. And you can see the product is trying to climb up. It still has a lot of work to do to get up into the 24-25 area. I mean, right now we are kind of, what's that? That's the 23 area right now as we speak. And you can see it pushed itself into a sell there, up in here. And it looks like is it on the buy? Yeah, that's just a small tick or two away from jumping into the buy. So there it is right there. That's the energy sectors overall. And the geopolitics, as much as you would think that the markets would be freaked out, it's not. The oil and energy market in particular, not moving very well. I don't think there's any real confidence until after the election at this point. I've been saying this for months now. Everybody's sitting back and waiting. They're waiting for the resolution to play itself out. They can only take so much of speculation, and then after a while it's like, tire has to meet the road, friction, whatever you want to call it, reality has to set in. They want to see the proof. They don't want to just hear, what's going to be done. They want to see action. ACTION, action. And right now, they're still, the Trump side of it is doing well, and the Harris side of it's not making a lot of sense. That's the problem. And her own side is saying, can't you just sit down and do a couple of talks? Not with Oprah, but with a reporter so that they can actually ask questions, because every time they talk with her, she doesn't answer any questions. So it's months now going on. She refuses to answer any questions. The closest thing she said is, I have not changed my ideals. So everything she has said over the last decade, as a senator and as a presidential candidate, and then as the vice president, and now as the presidential candidate again, is not very appealing to her base. All right, from the natural gas, where do we go from here? Let's see, we looked at the currencies, we looked at the energies, we've looked at the metals. I don't know who in their right mind would have sold platinum yesterday. You got to really wonder who does that stuff. All right, let's go over and see what the world's doing. Let's check that out. If anybody wants to see something, just give us a yell and we'll put it up on the screen. There's no problem there. But if not, then I like to look at the world. Let's see what cotton is doing. Here's cotton. Cotton's been trying to lift up. It's in a sell for a few days, and you can see yesterday it got smacked down. Now today they're trying to lift it up. And you couldn't take the short because we've been in a weekly buy now for a second week. And then from there, let's see what orange juice is doing. That tells you about the weather, doesn't it? They spiked it up to here, and now it seems to be done and over with. I guess, and you can see we're 3 weeks in a sell. There it is right there. Now let's check out some of the indices. We saw the Nikkei, and we seen. Let's see what the Kospi is doing. We'll take a look at. I think we looked at Taiwan. I'm trying to think of else. We'll take a look at Jakarta. There's the Kospi in Korea. It's digging its heels in and buying. I mean, they in essence border China in many ways. So I mean, you can know that there's a lot more commerce that can be railed over or driven over, or something of that nature. So the Kospi is trying to turn up. That's where the unwind of the Japanese market, and then it went down and tested a higher low, and now it's trying to turn up. And I guess if it takes out this stuff here, that low, these highs, maybe we'll go challenge this high right there. Let's see, where's Jakarta? Let's see. There's Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. See Bitcoin marching up compared to the ETF. It's the second week in a buy, whereas the ETF here in the States, the GBTC, they're on line, line 20, 25. Okay, yeah, they went into a weekly buy last week, and they are one day in a daily buy. So this thing, is showing even more strength. This is the real deal. This is the Bitcoin itself, trading in the 63,000 area. And a few weeks in a buy. Let's see if we can find Jakarta now. Let's see. Don't see Jakarta. I don't know where it's gotten to. We had it in here. We'll have to reinsert it. All right, from there, let's go over to, let's see if we can get, we couldn't get, which was really irritating, we couldn't get the Saudi Arabian oil company. Not sure why it wasn't printing. Let's see. There it is right there. Still doing that. Let's just take a look at it this way. Maybe I'll just pull it out and put it back in again. Something like that. There it is right there. You see it's been trying to climb for the last couple of days, in the 27.55 area. We'll have to reinsert that in so we can get the weeklies. And let's see. There we go. And let's see if we can get Tel Aviv. We haven't been able to get Saudi Arabia or Tel Aviv in for the last couple days. Oh, there's Tel Aviv today. Good. Okay. With all that noise going on over there, we got 2 weeks of selling. And they're fighting to get back into that buy. You can see the daily is trying to turn into the buy today also. After all this selling in here, we're fighting our way into the buy now. That was yesterday. There it is right there. That's yesterday. And then this is today's trading, and our algorithm, when it closes today, will show us where it's at. Maybe we'll see a little bit more positive action going on inside the weekly signal, too, at the same time. Let's check out. the DAX. Let's see what the DAX. Where's the? Oh, you know what we haven't seen is the Nifty 50. Where's the Nifty 50? Before we drift over into Europe itself. Nifty 50. Maybe that's it. NNE. It could be the Nifty 50, and that could be the all-time highs here. Let's try it right here. See what the NNE is. Nuclear energy. Okay, no, that's not it. That's interesting though. That's nuclear energy. Let's try Nifty 50. There it is, Nifty 50. Trading at 25,000. Let's put that in. Copy. Products. Add. Paste. Create. Users. Me. Let's see, where's that? Users. Right there again. There it is right there. And we've got that turned on now. Now let's go take a look at it. Yeah, look at that, up at the all-time highs. You're not interested in letting that go, and that's been in a weekly buy for months now. Months upon months. India seems to be the beneficiary of a weak China. That's why it doesn't surprise me any. Yep. That is exactly what it comes down to. You know, that the India is definitely benefiting from the weakness. I know telephone factories and a lot of different production is being shifted over to India. All right, now we go check out the DAX. You know what? Let's get that SOX. Remember how we had the SOX 50? Let's get the SOX in there. SOX. Let's see what that does right there. Not much there, so let's try another one. SOXX 50. That one seemed to be so much more organized. Euro Stocks 50. Let's find out one more. Maybe it's right there. That's what it is. Right there. Now see if we get it in there. Paste. Maybe that's it. Is that right? The Euro Stocks 50 ETF Euro. How about index itself? That doesn't seem to be doing it either. We were getting it on here. All right. Well, let's just take a look at the Deutsch. We'll go after it another day. I'll go hunt it down later on. Let's check out the DAX. Let's go see what they're doing with the DAX this morning. I saw it up 100 and something at one point. Let's see how they're holding up. I saw it get down to 75.80. You know, you would assume that there's going to be some profit taking sooner, more like later than sooner. That's for sure. There's DAX right there. You see DAX is okay, so it's doing a little topping out and trying to break down, but it settled yesterday at 18,846 basically, and now we're trading at 18,946, so it's 100 points higher. But notice it's trying to push into the sell as it did yesterday. Pushed into the sell, and we were in a weekly sell, but now because of the strength in it, they're trying to throw it into the weekly buy. Let's see how the CAC 40 and the FTSE are doing in Europe. Right there. And there's France. Same thing, they gapped it up today. There's a lot of pressure on it. And it's pushed it into the weekly buy side. Let's see. There it is right there. FTSE. Let's see how FTSE is. FTSE was pushing down. It's still, as much as it's up today, it's trying to push down. Weekly has turned also. Who knows? You know, I mean, I see headlines. They talk about it a lot. Melt up. Not melt down, but melt up. Can you imagine? That has become somewhat of some type of concern. Is that the markets are going to find ways to climb, not not fall down, because they're seeing this like, okay, Mr. Trump is going to win and the economy is going to turn into a much better place for it. I think that's what it comes down to. So. All right, traders. Anybody see anything else they'd like to see out there? I think I'll just send it out with you seeing the. Let's close that. Yes, and you can see. Here's the stock market. The S&Ps have been up in this 87 area off and on. Let's blow up one of the charts here. You see, it got up to as high as 90 and change during the European hours here. They started climbing, took it up there. What time's that? That was the first hour of European trading, And then they seem to top off, bring it down, and then they're going after it again. They're not afraid to go after it. And you can see, it went into the sell here, and that sell went on from here all the way down to here. Then they pushed it into the buy right there. And it's been, then back into the sell for a little action. Back into the buy and sell again, and now we're back into the weekly buy. The intraday buy. Intraday buy. All right, traders. I will come up with a title for this because now we have our phone working again. So, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Happy to Hump Day. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, all our trading friends. Later, traders.